Hello, this is Pastor Awu from the Kingdom Glory Ministries International. I want to share with you some insight the Lord has given me over the years concerning the shift in season. There are some clarity we need in terms of how we approach God's season. I know that every one of us have different emphasis, uh, but it's all about building God's kingdom. Whenever God releases his season, it's important that we understand the context. What is the context? What is he uh, bringing forth in this time? What is he emphasizing? What does he want to achieve? And we see in Matthew 11:12, it says that since the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffered violence, and violent men take it by force. And another translation says, since the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God has been forcefully advancing, and forceful men take it. So we see that every time God releases a new season, we have to build our mindset to align with what he is releasing. Okay? We have to look at his prophetic agenda. What is it he wants to implement in that season? Because I have said in other teachings that every time God gave a season, there are events that are released into the season that needs to be brought to fulfillment to bring the Kairos moment to completion. And in those events, the prophetic words are decoded and built into the lives of the people to take them from one level of maturity to another level of maturity. So it is important that we rise to the demand of the season. What is God demanding of us? I want to go over a few points, some of the things that I believe God is calling us to. I know that over the years, people have never really taken spirituality serious, that is spiritual warfare. We have not looked into the generational issues of spiritual warfare. And we should understand that the devil has been in control of this world since the fall of man. And he has made sure that he has planted the throne of iniquity in generations to keep them in bondage. And one of the emphasis of God in this season is to bring generational cleansing or generational deliverance. So people have to understand what their own generational issue is to deal with the ancestral foundation. And there were many covenants our forefathers went into, and today is tying the generation down. I know some people don't believe in this, but we are not going to go deep into it. But I'm just highlighting those things that are in the spirit right now that we need to pay attention to, which is generational cleansing. We need to discover where those covenants are, those altars, those curses, and deal with them. Another thing that is in the spirit that God is emphasizing is gaining greater territorial control. Because Genesis 1:26 says that we should have dominion. He has given us the earth to control or to manage, and we should have dominion. So we need to understand to gain greater territorial control. But the thing is, another thing I've seen the church has always generalized things, especially from Matthew 28, where it says that go ye into the world and preach the gospel, making disciples. We have failed to connect that to Acts chapter 1:8, where it says begin with your own Jerusalem. And I believe strongly that the first Jerusalem is our own self. We have to conquer ourselves. We have to understand our own personal territories that God has given to us before we can go beyond ourselves. So we have to understand what is territorial control and what is territory as it relates to what God is saying. Another thing we need to understand is our covenant position, because in every territory God assigned us to, He made covenant with us to be able to achieve what he wants to achieve in our territory. So what is our covenant position with God? We need to understand all of that. Another thing we need to look into is aligning of God's prophetic team of nation builders. Whenever God is rebuilding the nation, he raised up a team of people and he graced them and gave them different assignments. People have to understand that in a day of building, There are leaders that got grace to bring other people into it, like Nehemiah. Okay, another thing we need to look into is to identify our sphere of authority. God didn't call us to get involved in everything and be everywhere. We have spheres, we have boundaries that God has given to us. And what is our authority in those boundaries? We need to identify and begin to develop it. Another thing we need to understand is the issue of warfare. What is the issue of warfare? It has to do with government. It has to do with dominion. It has to do with territories. We have to understand all of these things. Ask the Lord to give us an insight, expand our understanding and our knowledge concerning these things in this season. Another thing he's emphasizing is pace setting and bringing order in the prayer arena. That's another important aspect that we need to look into. The pace setting and bringing order in the prayer arena. We know that intercessors are the ones that open the spiritual realm for the church to have access. But then they cannot operate it without the prophets and the apostle. They need to understand what it means to work along with prophets and apostle, intercessor, prophets, and apostle. What is how did the three of them work together to achieve God's purpose in a new season, in every season, but the emphasis is greater in the new season because they are opening new territories, they are breaking new frontiers, they are achieving new things, and it has to be by agreement and partnership. Okay, another thing we need to look at is understand God's building emphasis. What is God emphasizing? What is he building? He's advancing his kingdom. He's building children or bringing children into sonship. And he also asking for and possessing the nation through the church. Okay, and the last and not the least is our prayer focus. Our prayer focus should be linked to God's prophetic agenda. Okay, whatever we are praying for now, we should be able to discern what is God's agenda and align our prayer with it. We cannot just pray and miss. This is why he said when you pray, pray that kingdom come, that will be done. We can only pray the will of God. So in this season, we need to understand God's agenda. What is his prophetic agenda that we need to agree with and pray it? Because that's what a watchman is. A watchman see into the spirit what God is saying, and he align himself with it and begin to declare and pray about it. So I hope that these points you will look into them and see how you can ask and do more studies on it and ask God to give you greater insight and see how you can align yourself into it and build that capacity in your life. Thank you for the time and God bless you.